Welcome to Spurs Region TV. Before we start, we're gonna say Happy New Year to all you guys, right? Happy New Year, Ian. Happy New Year, Keshav, right?
Yeah.
This is our first show of the New Year's, right? We're gonna do a review and preview of what happened on New Year's Day, and of course, Keshav is a West Ham fan. He doesn't look too happy. Ian and I are Spurs fans.
Uh,
We are exploding and imploding at the same time. I don't know what's that gonna happen, right? But of course, in the beginning, I'll have my say first, right? At the moment, I would like to let all the Spurs fan base, right, understand each and every one of us have our own opinions. We're entitled to it, how we feel, what we want to say, just as long it doesn't spew out so much. No, please cut the hate, right? We should actually unite now as a Spurs fan base, right? And stop hating each other, right? And Steak, if you're in, you want to join me, I'll put the link into the chat, right? Let me know, Steak, if you're free, right? At the moment, as I can see it, there are a lot of the Conte out, Conte in, Conte in, out, Levy out, and it's getting very, very confusing, and it's becoming an echo chamber. That's why I've got Keshav, so we don't have to talk about Spurs all the time and get confused and echo chamber ourselves. And I guess Keshav is not too happy too, right? At the moment, right, with what's happening with Moyes and your owners are what Gold and who?
Golden and Sullivan.
Golden Sullivan. Yeah, Golden Sullivan. Let's call him the Golden Sullivan team, right? But being it's all football, right, guys? Right? In the end, it's just football, right? The world is bigger than football, but of course, being football fans, and we love our own clubs and we have our own opinions, and hopefully, in one day, my grand ambition is that actually the fans should own the clubs themselves, not being owned by billionaires and treat them like play toys, or even owned by billionaires who treat them like money machines, right? That's how I feel. But in the end of the day, fans, we should just cut the hate, right? We have our opinions, respect each other's opinions, right? Even Ian was more or less what Levy on the fence guy, right? But he's slowly shifting over to the Enoch and Levy out scenario, right? Ian, haven't seen you in such a long time. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I can't say I'm not depressed. A little bit about the performance of the team at the moment. I'm sure, like a lot of people. But Keshev's a reminder: whenever things are bad, there's always somebody worse off than you. And West Ham, I was actually, if anyone was watching on the intro, I was pulling my phone up to pull up the tables and pull up the fixtures. And West Ham may well be in the bottom three tomorrow night. May well be. They go to Leeds. Leeds away is never an easy fixture. So, they've got, at least our worries are whether we make the Champions League or Europa League or not. West Ham's are whether they play Premier League football next season. So, we need to keep it in some sort of perspective. West Ham as well have, got a big expensive stadium, albeit let's not get into the mechanics of the finances of that. They've got a big shiny 60,000 seat stadium that they don't want to be playing championship football in. So I agree. I've been on broadcast. I think as long as people treat each other with kindness and respect, whatever their opinion, listen to other people's opinions. And in fact, funnily enough, I had a long couple of voice messages from Brian Daggle. I don't, Keshev maybe not know who Brian is, but Brian is de facto leaders of the Levy Out campaign. I think he's certainly well known for that. Some people love him, some people hate him, some people ridicule him. But one of the things is he's entirely consistent with his principles, and it's always worth listening to. And Brian and I have a lot of time for each other. Maybe you want to bring Keshev in. I think there's plenty we can talk about with the Enoch situation, but things are not moving as I thought and hoped they would. And that would be my comment. I'm wearing my Pele shirt. That's one thing I should. Pele is being buried at the moment. I've got my Pele shirt in the Santos Museum. Hi, Bobby K. At the Santos Museum it's just up the road from where the funeral's taking place. So, great memories.
And before we let Keshav speak, right? Big up to Chelsea OG. Let's swap Conte for Potter, right? And the Chelsea fans are having a meltdown now, right? With Potter there, right? And
Yeah.
of course, people will always say steak and also Bobby K. If you're free, I'll send you the link, right? If you want to hop on, Bobby, right? Just let me know, right? But Keshav, I mean, like what Ian says, right? At least you guys did spend some money to buy Samaka, brought in Paqueta, right? And what has happened? It's not working out. Is it Moyes is the problem, or is it the players are just not following his tune, or is it the owners are the problem again? Are you guys going to blame the owners, or are you going to do what are you going to do, right? And big up the savvy, right? Eugene, what do people who live around the area stadium think about Levy and Conte? Because they would be very important in the terms of the protest, right? Of course, the protest, we'll talk about that later. But at the moment now, Savvy, I would just like to get Keshav. Keshav is a West Ham fan. Let's get his opinion on his club now. Hi, Keshav. Let me know.
Hi, hi Eugene. Hi Ian. Happy New Year. So I'd like to start off by saying it's not been a good season so far for West Ham, and I think, to be honest, almost all the West Ham fans would say what I've been saying, that we have spent quite a lot of money to buy, to be honest, very good players. Um, and to be honest, the owners have backed Moyes, the owners have spent the money. So I've got no excuse for them to say that they've not brought in anybody. But I think it's time that Moyes has to go, because there's a lot of reasons. I'll come into that. And I've been very disappointed, very frustrated, and very upset with my team, because I know this team has potential. And 2 seasons ago, we were in this position, and Moyes came in to save us from this position. He did very well to do that. And then he took us to sixth and seventh position, which I didn't even think that would be possible, and he did that. So I know there has to be some credit given to Moyes, because he is a good manager. He likes to build teams. He likes to get the best out of quality players, especially from the championship. And he's done that with the likes of Bowen and a few other players. But now we have signed Skamaka, Pakata, all these brilliant players. There needs to be a time where, let Moyes step back. He's done what he's could, and let somebody come in who's much more equipped to handle this type of situation, which I don't think Moyes is able to. Moyes doesn't know how to handle big players. He doesn't know how to get the best out of players. He just can't seem to get the formation right. And especially after the World Cup break ended, I was watching the Arsenal game, and my goodness, we are really shambolic. Everywhere we didn't press. There was no energy. There's no passion. We looked tired, and it's the same pattern of play which we've been seeing before the World Cup. And to be honest, I'm really frustrated, and I do feel sorry for Moyes at the same time. But then you have to look at Moyes and think: is his ideas outdated? Is the way we're playing not suited to the players? Because you only have to look at the players, and right now the players are not even giving any effort. Of course, the Arsenal game was a tough game, and we tried our best, but of course it was always going to be a tough game playing against a very, very good Arsenal side. And we were well deserved to get beaten there. We got in the second half. We were leading 1-0. Then we had to Brentford, which again, it was going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. Look, Brentford just beat Liverpool yesterday. I watched the match, and they're a very good team. Not easy to play against, hard to beat. And played Brentford. It was again another horrible performance. The two goals we conceded was from throw-ins, and I already said to my brother. He said, "I already told your mom we're going to lose because the momentum is not being good. We are not playing. We're not showing any signs of improvement." And to be honest, the first 15 minutes, we actually played well. We pressed Brentford, and we had a lot of opportunities to score, and we didn't take the opportunities. And Brentford scored from two throw-ins, and the problem is they were clinical and we weren't. So to be honest, I think Imoy should go. I think his time is done. And I think we need to get somebody in who's much more well equipped to get the best out of players. And it seems the board has given him 3 games, which I don't understand why, because this should have happened before the World Cup. which is the fact that they should have sacked Moyes. Right now, they're just saying, give him 3 games, which is the current one, which is Leeds, Wolves, and Everton. But to be honest, I don't know why he's going to get the points based on what I've been seeing for the past few games. But what we can do is back the manager, and it seems that if this continues, he should go. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate what Moyes has done, and I thank him a lot for that. But at the same time, you have to move forward. You have to be forward thinking. This team, we need to get a manager who's innovative, and I have to say Moyes is not innovative at all. So I hope we can maybe try and get something from the Leeds game, but my main priority is to get a few wins, because right now we are sleepwalking to in front of us in terms of us being in the relegation zone. I am worried, but I have to keep the faith.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But of course, just let me answer Savvy's question here, right? Savvy, this question, who's going to protest and all that? I think Brian Daigle will be the better person to ask, because he's actually in London, and you should know that I'm in Malaysia. Keshaf is in Malaysia. Ian is in Scotland, right? I think Snell has put out forms, a Google form kind of thing, where you can join and you will find out where all the protests will be happening for the Spurs protest and all that, right, Savvy? Big up to you. Thanks for your question. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Eugene, let me just come in on that if I can. I think that it is still the Levy/Enoch account is still a very, very small minority. I think it needs to be put in perspective. Although I'm in Scotland, I've been to 2 games this season, and I will go. I will go to more. And the guys that protest outside the church, I think it is in on Tottenham High Road, something of a subject of ridicule. I think the online community gives the impression it's bigger than it is. But I think what there are is signs that an increasing number of people, I'm one of them, who are starting to question seriously whether under Enoch, the club can actually progress and be a big enough team now to fill the stadium, not fill it in terms of spectators, but fill it in terms of ambition and trophies. I get the impression it was pretty toxic after the home defeat to Villa, and one of the reasons for that is, of course, the performance was so bad. And it's Wayne Bonner Highway.
Hey, big up, Wayne.
If things start to go really poorly, and we get knocked out the cup by Portsmouth at the weekend, lose at home to Arsenal, and then lose either or both those games to Manchester City, and the team's in freefall, I think it could get very toxic very, very quickly, and then you've got a bigger movement. Sorry, I should say hi, Gagu, but yeah, I'm absolutely wonderful. I'm saying to Eugene, I've been away a fair bit, away in the Caribbean and a bit in Spain, and also I didn't watch all of the World Cup, so there's not much point in me coming on broadcast to talk about games I haven't seen. But Gaguma is definitely the prettiest girl in Asia I've never seen, and I've no idea what she looks like.
Oh, you never seen Guguma before? Yeah, if Guguma allows me, maybe I'll send a photo of her to you.
Yeah.
Right. But to tell the truth, right, Ian, what I've seen is that, right, during the Aston Villa game, I think what Conte has happened to Conte, I think he did go to the board and Levy and Paratici, and the Enoch people who are running the club, and told them what his ambition was, right, and what players he needed. And I guess he was just brushed away. So that's why Conte, I feel he's checked out. So since he's checked out, you could see that our players during the Aston Villa game, they are more or less checked out too. So, it took Kane 19 minutes in that game just to get his first touch off the ball.
Yeah.
It's a very weird thing, because it's like there's no drive, there's no intensity. So I guess for my biggest fear is, right, the plan for Conte now is he's maybe protesting against the board by actually losing all the games they're going to come up against now. Right. To tell the truth, the next 5 games, I'm not sure whether West Ham is involved there, because if West Ham is involved there, maybe Keshav Moyes will get a chance to in the next 5 games to win, to get some points on the board. Right. So, but I just want to ask Keshav a very simple question. If you get rid of Moyes, right, who are you going to bring in?
It seems that we have three replacements lined up according to the Daily Mail, which, to be honest, I don't really rely on. We have good sources within the club. One of them is Jacob Steinberg. He hasn't said on any replacements, but according to the Daily Mail, it seems that Thomas Tuchel is in one of our targets, which I don't think is possible, and I don't think we're going to get him. Reasons is because he would want a Champions League club, and he wouldn't want to come into the situation we are in. The second manager is Pochettino, which I'm telling you highly unlikely he's going to come because he also managed Spurs. So let's put that aside. Uh, and the last manager, which to be honest I admire a lot, and he got sacked for a few reasons, is Marcelo Bielsa. And I like him. I really do like him as a manager. I know he's Leeds, when he managed Leeds, they got whacked, if I'm not mistaken, 9-0, or he's got those trashings. So even though that's happened, I know he's got a good philosophy of the way he plays. But it seems, according to some sources, that the board had interviewed him, I think, a few years ago, and his English wasn't that good. So that could be a factor, but not really, because I think even he managed Leeds and they actually did pretty well. There are a few other managers, and I think one of them, to be honest, I think it's a very predictable one, is Sean Dyche. To be honest, I'm not really a huge Sean Dyche fan, but I know he will get the best out of possibly Maxwell Cornet. He's come into the club. He'll make Skamaka a target man. He will try and say, not over this next 5-6 months, let's keep this club up and see. Because like I said, I am very upset, and there's reasons to say that, because I don't like how we're playing. It's very. I'm sure if you've seen the West Ham games, we've been very predictable. We're too easy to play against, and it seems like everything's, not to say falling apart. It's just that we are not in a good situation right now. And as a fan, the only thing you can do, to be honest, is just back the team. And of course, you can do your best to voice out your opinions and all, but that's not going to change. Um, the It can change. Don't get me wrong, on the attitude of the players on the pitch, but it won't change the way things have been done behind the scenes. And we've brought in Mark Noble as our sporting director. He's just come in, I think, 2 days ago.
Hmm.
Let's see how it goes on that. But like I said, this thing about being given 3 games is, to be honest, ludicrous. Why would you give him 3 games when you should have sacked him in the World Cup? Because, to be honest, he's run out of ideas. He doesn't know how to play or get the best out of the players. I'm sure we've got wonderful players. We've got a good stadium. We've got a very good fan base. And what I want is just for us to maintain consistency. Look, for example, look at Brentford and look at Brighton. They've got a recruitment system which is well built. They've got a good manager who's, right now, Roberto De Zerbi's done very well at Brighton, who just coming for Graham Potter, and Thomas Frank, whose side has just beaten Liverpool, which I watched yesterday. Very good. I mean, today morning, sorry. Very good how Brentford played. They were, again, sat deep. They made sure the defense was organized, and then they went on the counter attack. And to be honest, they actually played the same way they did against Liverpool last time. So, like I said, these teams have got a good system in place. They're a very good team, and I've got no praise by Brentford because they have been doing very well. And I want us to be like that. The problem is our owners are the problem, and to be honest, the manager that we have right now doesn't allow us to sort of push us in the direction to say that let's push up, let's keep it going, because it seems that he keeps saying, no, we're going to push on to Europe. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this talk on Moisey? Sometimes he's saying bullshit, sometimes he's just saying stuff that is not even matching to the current situation, in which he should say, I admit that we are in a difficult position. Let's see, or let's try and turn it around, maybe through playing different ways of playing, because right now we're not even playing a different way. Yes, we might have pressed against Brentford, but look, we've lost, and we've already lost 5 games. And I'm very nervous for the Leeds game, because I know Leeds are a good team, and if we do lose, what are the bottom? Are they going to keep him? Are they going to sack him? Because to be honest, even if he loses, I think we'll probably keep him. So let's
Yeah, we
see.
got 3 games, right? Let's say. But the thing
Yeah,
is that, Kishaf, you guys are still in the Conference League, right, in Europe.
correct. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So that will even play more heavy onto Moyes and your owners, and of course Europe brings in a little bit extra money, right? Even it's not as much as the rest of the other European competitions, but Are there any sounds of like protests or disharmony, or how's your fan base accepting this kind of scenario that's
Um,
happening with West
okay,
Ham?
then,
Like what's happening with Spurs is that
I understand. Yeah.
we have one of the best managers in the world, but
Mm,
our fan base is so divided, right? Instead of going for one objective, the owners, right, we go at each other more than going against the owners. So
I understand.
what is your fan base like now at the moment?
According, I watch different Western channels. One of the Western fan TV, they've all said the same thing, which I've been saying, which is, to be honest, that Moy should go. It's time. It's
Oh,
just time's up for him because, don't get me wrong. I already have said this again. I appreciate what he's done, but sometimes you have to accept the fact that what he can do is the best only that he can do. You need somebody else to take over at that current moment. And to be honest, I feel the same way. I do feel that I am upset. I am frustrated because I didn't expect us to be in this position. And to be honest, the players that we bought in have just not hit the mark. They've been, and I don't know. I feel that every time the board can't make a decision, they seem very slow in making decisions, and I'm not like that. I don't like the fact that it's like that because you want a manager who can take this team forward. And all the Forster fans have been saying that, especially for the Brentford game, they've been saying that yes, we've played well, we pressed well, but we weren't clinical enough. And Brentford were clinical, and they scored those 2 goals. So, and also another thing is that why Moyes or why we keep losing games because we keep playing the same players. We keep playing Suchek, who's been, sorry to say, but dog shit. We keep playing Krasov, who's been horrific. We keep playing Fabianski, and why I don't know why Areola's on the bench. To be honest, Areola is a second France World Cup goalkeeper who should be playing. We have Antonio who keeps playing, and he gets many injuries and he's very tired. He keeps playing Skamaka up front when you know he's good in a two-man or um, two striker role. And I keep thinking, why is Moyes not paying attention to these things that Sutek's not playing well or Kufal is not playing well? Because when I saw the Brentford game, to be honest, I was laughing because we kept hoofing the ball up. Nobody was there. And he keeps playing the same way every time. He only has one way of playing, and I'm very tired of it. Sorry, but
mhm.
it's just the way.
Yeah,
Just the way.
yeah, I understand your frustrations, right? It's like what the Spurs fan base is frustrated now too, right? We've gone
Mm,
behind in 10 consecutive games. I can't even say that word anymore.
mm,
Oh
you,
dear.
you, what's interesting is what Keshev started saying was that he thinks that the owners are the problem. Now that's where a lot of people think Tottenham's problems are, and I'm
mm,
seeing the chat. Wayne and Gaguma saying, Conte looks like he's checked out, and if
mm,
Conte's checked out, fine, he should probably go. But
mm,
the reality is, if it's the owners the problem, and you've got an absolutely top manager, as we think we've got in Conte,
mm,
then you stick with the manager and try and change your owners. If your owners are the problem, as ours appear to be, I'm going to come back onto that in a minute. If your owners are the problem, then there's no good continuing to change the manager, because I think we've found, whether it's Pochettino, Nuno was a bad appointment, but Mourinho and now Conte, it's the same problem. It is the same problem. There are managers are asking for investments at key times, and they're not getting what they want. But that brings me back to another point, and that's, although our spending isn't as high as some of the so-called big clubs around us in the league. The reality is we do spend money. Our problem has been consistently spending money badly. Now,
Yeah.
when you look at the players we've got on loan at the moment, you take somebody like Ndombele and Lo Celso. That's 80-something million pounds of money
No,
absolutely down the toilet.
no, I think it's
You,
near 100 million, man.
yeah, well, I think what, maybe six. Well, okay, I said 80 million. Let's call it 100 million, 90 million.
100 million. Yeah.
The exact numbers actually don't matter. Brian Gill played for us against Aston Villa. I mean, if he's had a couple of little good cameos in Europe, where perhaps the tackling and the physical strength of the game isn't as high. but he's hopelessly out of his depth. Now, we paid something like 25 million plus Lamella for him. Now, that was Paratici's decision. Conte wasn't there at the time. Not even sure we did have a manager at the time, for somebody that's manifestly unsuitable for the English league. So God knows what we might get for him, 10 million, 15 million. So there's another 40 million, absolutely spunked away. Pardon that.
But Ian, don't worry. Hill is young. He'll come good.
Gill was young, yeah. As a 40-year-old Brian Gill comes out to accompany a 52-year-old Harry Kane.
Yeah, and from
Gill's never going to come good in the Premier League. I mean, there's just sometimes you have to cut your losses. Now, I don't know when Conte came, a year and a bit ago. What was it, November 20? Yeah. I am 21. I'm absolutely certain he must have been told he would be given the resources. I do not believe there are any circumstances in which a manager like Conte would come to Tottenham and say, you can have 200 million over 5 years. I don't see that. However, what I suspect he was given, and this is where the problem lies, there's two problems here. One, I think he was told he can have money, maybe 100 million. Remember, we spent 60 million on Richarlison in the summer, plus we made Romero's deal permanent. So that's 100 million pounds.
But Romero came during Nuno's time. But don't forget, right? Levy is very good with his gentleman's agreement, right? So that's the best part.
Yeah. Well, that's another story. We don't know. And I'm going to come on to that. The other aspect, I wanted to talk about in respect of that is I'm sure whatever money he was promised, it was plus the money we got from transfers. And we have not been able to get the deadwood out the door. And that's a problem. And the second problem relating to that is, and I was reading something in one of the papers about this, about Levy's, in fact, it was Alistair Gold, and Levy's camera shyness. Now, for all his high profile, he doesn't want a profile. Now, there's also a problem because Paratici, when he was at Juve, apparently was doing 5 press conferences a week. So there is nobody communicating with the media, nobody communicating with the fans. And I do see part of the problem here is if any of us could understand that there was a clear strategy and a clear vision for what the club was trying to achieve, I think it might take some of the pressure off. I'm becoming cynical about Levy and ENIC, and one of the reasons is they don't tell me what they're trying to achieve.
No, but Ian, they always come out and say something, right? And they don't do it. You get what I'm saying? You understand? That's why the problem with remember when he had his Death Star kind of interview on one of the YouTube channels and all that, which Tottenham YouTube channel, something like that. He came out and said a lot of things which he didn't ever keep any of his promises. So that's the problem with Levy, is that I think he's gotten smart. Now he knows, right, that he can't do these type of things anymore because everything that comes out from his mouth, right, we can't trust. But at least what you say, like Keshav says, right, Keshav, you guys have a communicator, right, that's been appointed by your club to tell you what's happening with your situation. Like you know that Moyes has got 3 games left, more or less. That's a rumor going around, or maybe it's confirmed. We're giving the club is giving Moyes 3 more games, right? We don't know what the hell's happening with Conte, right? We don't know whether he's going to sign his extension contract, right? Or we don't know, we don't know nothing. You see, and the way we see the team playing now on the field, all of us Spurs fans are just like saying, like Guguma is saying, Alexis saying, Wayne Bonner saying, Conte has checked out. Because when Conte, with pre-World Cup, right, or maybe 4 months back, when he was on the field, when the game was going on, he was running up and down, shouting at the players. But we've noticed, right, after the World Cup, he come back during the Aston Villa game, all he did was a Nuno stance, folded arms, holding his chin, and going, right? So I guess he's checked out. So if he's checked out, the rest of the players are have checked out too, because most probably, I think when they came back, right, most probably Conte already said that I've already gone to the board, right? They're not supporting me, right? And I guess, guys, I'll be gone in 6 months' time. So adios, guys, right? Let's plan my departure party. That's all. Right? And big up to Chris Beckenbauer, big up Yeah, big up. Happy New Year,
Moise,
Chris.
hi, Chris. Hi, happy New Year
Yeah,
to you too, my friend.
yeah.
The thing is that Moise has been at, I don't know, at West Ham 5 years, something like that now.
Oh no, I think it's a 2.5 or 3.
Is that all? It feels
Yeah,
like you.
no, but Moise has gone back the second time. This is not his
Ah,
first
yes.
time, right?
Yes.
Right? This is his second round. I think the first time he came back for about 1 year. That was to save them and all that, and
No,
save you guys.
it's around
You know,
5 months. He came 5 to 6 months. I would say.
uh, yeah, he came in for 5 to 6 months. Yeah, right. Then after that, they reappointed somebody else, and they found out that didn't work up. Then that's why they brought Moise back, right? And at least Moise has got 3 years under his belt. What does Conte has? Our owners, right, always panic buy, panic sell, panic appointment all the time. No long-term plan. But maybe that's their plan, right? Keep the fans happy to a certain extent, right? We are not going to protest like Manchester United or Arsenal or Liverpool, right? Break the stadium down or burn some things around the stadium. We don't do that. We are so passive as a fan base, right? And that's why, like Savvy was asking, when are we going to protest, right? I've been on this chat doing this. Big up, Engwa, big up. I hope you're doing well in London, right? And thanks for being on the show last night when I was on Summers, right? I've been doing this channel for nearly 2 years now. When it first started, Mourinho was in charge, right? And when Mourinho got sacked, right, 6 days before a cup final, all hell broke loose, right? While doing all this, we've been going through the 72 days with our manager. We were just coming back to square one again. Every time we come back to square one, right? But for at least now, see Kesha, being a West Ham fan, right? You guys, your owners don't come out and say that, oh, we are one. Because the sad part with us Spurs fans, right? Our owners have built this into our mind. We are one of the biggest teams in the world, right? We are the top 6 in the Premier League, right? We are, and we should be having bigger ambition. If our owners came out and told us, right, we don't have any ambition, right, for the football, but just to develop the stadium, to make everything pretty and nice, right? And we just want your money. Do you think the stadium will be full? No. So they have to go on this bullshit, bullshit scenario to con the fans into the stadium to spend their money. That's what I see. Levy is just another con man, right? Right? His ambition, or the worst part is, Levy could be an Arsenal fan. And he's been put that in there to torture us Spurs fans, for all you know, right? But at least for you, Golden Sullivan took over, told you guys, we are going to move to the London Stadium, and we're going to redevelop, right? It will take some time, right? And be patient, right? But of course, with Moyes there now, what has happened? Like you said, that now at least your owners have come up with a PR communication stance that says that, all right, we're going to give Moyes 3 more games, right? And let's see what happens. Right? We don't even have that information. That's the sad part, right? And big up to Dave Hosper, right? Right? Have we bought Harry Maguire yet? Oh, Dave, you should know, right? If you're a Spurs fan, right, you'll be linked to every player on earth, right? And hopefully somebody from Malaysia too, right? To join Spurs, right? But it will never happen. But maybe the Malaysian player will join because it'll be cheap, right? Low wages, right? Because of the currency exchange and all that. And then he'll come in and he'll be most probably sitting on the bench and Conte will be puking. Right? Right. But of course, like Kesha, like what your club owners at least have that PR guy that comes out to communicate with the fans. Our owners, right, has a PR team, right, to divide the fans, right, con the fans, right, and right, and what called conquerors. Simple as that. Right. That's how I see it. But for you, Kesha, but if you're confirmed now, right? If Moyes has got 3 more games, if he wins the next 3 games, you guys are actually moving up the standings. So, that's one thing. But of course, like we said, maybe Moyes can't handle the big egos, and he doesn't have right, the nose to actually manage players like Paqueta, Samaka, and all that. And to tell the truth, Spurs would love to have a Paqueta or a Samaka, right? And we don't, you see. So, and it comes down, our recruitment suck, right? Like what Ian said, we throw money away, right, by sacking managers, paying their compensation, right, buying duds, right, overpriced duds, right? All this time, while Levy is always trying to be smart to save money, and we do not get rid of the deadwood because we don't want to take a hit on the losses, right? So that's why our squad now looks like a graveyard for just like what Alex Davis was saying, right? From Alex Stage FC, Ian, right? I'm going to say this: we're just a graveyard for bang average players, right? To go there to get their testimonial and retire in Spurs, right? That's all, right? And what Dave also says: Moyes is gone, still at West Ham, too defensive. I am.
I agree.
Yeah. That's what Kesha will agree upon, right?
Yeah.
So
too defensive.
Yeah, too defensive.
I mean, when I was on, I did a little bit on Bob Spurs TV yesterday. I'll be that Malaysian player. I've got no right to play, but I'll happily be that Malaysian player too. If we're changing manager, it's deck chairs on the Titanic as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
you're just going to go back. You can say, let's check in with a young manager. There was a tongue-in-cheek swap you Conte for Potter. I'm a big fan of Potter, and I think he's one that maybe there's a change in ownership at Chelsea, a change in culture. It will take him a little bit of time. It looks like they're spending some money. If they're prepared to give him that, Abramovich no doubt wouldn't. I would hope that the current regime do. If we had a vacancy tomorrow, and you hit a nail on the head. Has Conte checked out? Are we going to have a new manager by 3 o'clock this afternoon? Another 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years? We don't know, and that's not healthy in a business. That's not healthy in any business, and certainly not in football. If Conte no longer is, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but if he's giving the impression to the players he's no longer interested, saying he's being let down by the board, can't get back, whatever's going on, we don't know. But it would just be the same scenario as it's been with all of the other 276 managers that Conte's had in the last 20 years, or however many we've gone through. It's a lot of managers anyway, isn't it? It's like 11, 12 managers or something. It's if you were in business and you weren't the chairman or chief executive of that business and you were making that many failed appointments, you'd be sacked. But
you must understand, they already have this all planned. Conte has always been our stopgap manager. He was appointed to appease the fans when Levy lost. When we lost against MU at home, when the chance came out, right? That was the panic appointment, right? That's why the red flag was there already when Conte was appointed for 18 months, right? If we had a long-term plan for Conte, right? Conte would have signed a 4.5 year contract instead of 18-month contract. And most probably Conte was smart enough to understand that he is not going to be there long-term, right? His objective last season, right, for all we know, is that just to bring us to the top 4 position to get us into the Champions League again, which has always been, right, our owner's ambition, to make the Champions League, to make the Champions League money, and to be in the Champions League, to be considered one of the big 6, which will lead us to the ESL if it ever happens, right? We will be included in that scenario. That's how I see it, right? But let you say, in their day, right? Okay, I'll big up to Eva, man. Happy New Year, Eva, right? What? I have COVID at the moment. Oh, but feeling fine. Oh, sorry to hear that, Eva. Right. Hope you're doing well in Hong Kong, right, Eva? And hope you had a good New Year. I guess because Hong Kong is just next to China, so you guys are getting the brunt of it, right?
Yeah.
Right? And you guys in the chats, right? Put in a question, right, to Keshav, because he's a West Ham fan and he's feeling like what we are feeling, but he's at a more peril position now at the moment because they are actually hovering above the relegation positions. Us, as being a Spurs fan, we get upset, right, when we are not in the top 6 position or in the top 4 position. So ask Keshav, because what Keshav said is very true. He's very grateful to Moyes, right, for bringing them for 2 years. Is it 2 years or 3 years?
2 years.
2 years in a row into Europe. It doesn't matter whether it was the Europa League or whether it's Conference League. West Ham is in Europe. But now you are falling down the pecking order, and the fan base is going crazy because they see that Moyes doesn't have the ability or capabilities, right, to maintain that standard. Correct?
Yeah.
So guys, you in the chats, right, get an opinion of another person, another fan from another club, instead of always hearing about us Spurs fan arguing among each other. But of course, persuasion is a very nice channel. We never argue among each other, right? We're always very diplomatic, right? And we're always very respectful to each other, right? Because there are 12 of you in the chats, right? Ask Keshav a question. Being a West Ham fan, how does he feel, right? But but at least Keshav knows his owners hasn't come out and says that, oh, we're going to aim to win the league, we're going to aim to win this, we're going to be this and that and this and that. But of course, honestly, our owners have never said that too, right? But how call it's like implied that since we have gone to this stage, right? We built that $1 billion stadium, right? We've coming in with all the money, right? And the worst part is that, if I'm not mistaken, when one of Levy's interviews, right, he said, right, all the money made, right, from the stadium and all the funds generated, right, will be put back into the team. Of course, yes, we will put back the money into the team, right, by buying, instead of 2-3 quality top class players, right, we'll buy 7 to 10 dross players, right, and hope that works out, right? What Conte says, right, the club's vision is, right, to buy young, cheap wages, right, and to develop, and let's see what happens. But Keshav, I want to ask you a question. Have you got any knowledge about your youth academy? Do you see any youngsters coming up from your youth academy to actually support your current team now? Because like you see, our Spurs team, we don't have that. We always have them on the bench, but they hardly ever come on.
I do agree that we don't get me wrong. It always seems that West Ham have one of the best youth academies, but it seems Moyes is not utilizing them. So, well done for that. But of course, it's not a good thing. And like I said, we have wonderful youth academy players, but it seems that every time we want to tie down a contract with them, it seems that they want to go to other clubs. So that is one thing. The second thing is that we have given them some starts, we've given some youth academy starts. I think in the Europa Conference League, I think it was one time against I forgot the team, but we did give them. But I don't think it's in Moyes' priority right now because, again, don't get me wrong, I love to see youth academy. I think it's very important. And don't get me wrong, right now we do need a bit of pace. So, to be honest, why not bring some youth academy players in? But we have got some good youth academy. But the problem is that because we are in this position, I don't think Moyes would risk the fact of putting youth academy players in. But he has done that, I think, against Arsenal. He brought in one striker on Divin Obama and then another player on. But he's heavily reliant on experienced players. So, yeah. Let's see what.
You're looking like you're more like acting like Spurs now, right? So this is how you see it, right? That's like what Dave Hosper said. West Ham needs more attack-minded manager to utilize Paqueta, Benrahma, and of course Maka and etc. Right? But like you're talking about the manager just now, right? What manager would you have? Tuchel is like Conte, a defensive manager, right? The only other more attacking manager that we look at too is most probably you're talking about Bielsa and of course Pochettino. Right. And of course, like what we've been saying, right? Pochettino now is like all the fan base knows that if Conte walks tomorrow after we lose against Palace, right, guys, we're going to lose against Palace, okay? I'm going to tell you this now, right? Because we really checked out, right? If Conte walks tomorrow after we lose against Palace tomorrow, right? Who's going to come in? Ian, you were saying Pochettino. He's lined up. You see?
I wouldn't rule it out. I think I'm not sure that Levy now doesn't concede that he probably made a mistake. Pochettino said to him, "This team is aging. If you want it to go further, I need to improve it." Probably, if I'm honest, the stadium came at the wrong time in terms of that because he was putting money into that. I get that from a business point of view. The other thing I heard,
he lied again.
Let me finish. The other thing I heard, and this is where I think Levy can be naive and pliable for all his business hardness, is he was told, Mourinho told him, this is, I say, I can't substantiate this, but came round and said, there's nothing wrong with that team. I'll get that team playing. And of course, that would appeal to Levy. It makes total sense that he would turn around and say, "Hey, I can spend £10 million getting rid of Pochettino and bringing in Mourinho, even at a higher salary, or I can spend 150 million on the team. I'll go with the Mourinho option. And of course, that didn't work. I don't know whether that's true. It's what I read, but it makes total sense to me. In terms of where we go, I am of the opinion. I think Pochettino would be a step back, but it wouldn't be the worst mistake that we could make. I still think we should go for take the option of actually funding Conte, because I think Conte will win for us. The manager I would go, if you're looking for options, where I would go would be, you've got to have Pochettino in there. If there was a serious option to trade Conte for Potter, I would take that. I think Potter would be a good manager at Tottenham. There's two other names I'll throw into the pot. Thomas Frank at Brentford is doing an absolutely amazing job. Young, dynamic, forward-thinking coach. You know, again, is he going to get the money? But I think he'll get the players playing better. And the other one is I don't know whether any of you know him in Asia from his time in Asia, is Postecoglou from who's at Celtic at the moment.
He's a good manager.
Extremely successful in the J League. Plays football on the front foot. The team passes the ball fast. Is dynamic. Plays with two wide players. He would be. I can't tell you, like any bringing in any manager like that that's untried at that level. Who knows? But I'll say the last manager I remember from the J League that came to the UK, was Arsene Wenger, and he didn't do too badly. So there's some names I'll chuck into the pot if Conte walks out.
Yeah. But to tell the truth, right? Whoever comes in now, it doesn't matter. Right? If these owners follow that same kind of scenario they have, you can bring in, right, who is the top, right? Let's say Luis Enrique, you can bring whoever, right? Let's say you bring in even the Argentinian, the World Cup winning manager to come into managers. It doesn't work because the vision of our club, right? If the owners, right, are honest with us and just tell us, right, this is it, and you want to accept it, you accept it, right? But most probably you will lose 20% of the fan base going to the stadium to watch, and they will lose money, and they won't do that, right? That's what I'm saying, right? What Dave Hosper is saying, right? Poch would be foolish to return as long as Levy is here. Levy humiliated him. We all know that, right? We all know that, right? And what he says here, Derek Hutchinson says that Poch would be the biggest mistake for Spurs, because if Poch comes back, right, he will have to sell nearly all the players that we have in this squad. Bar maybe Spence, Udogi is coming back in, Romero, right? Because the rest of them are all too old. Son and Kane will be gone, right? They won't be able to play the Poch way, because Poch way is high intensity, high pressing. You need high stamina for that. You don't have that with our players now at the moment, right? And of course, Dave Hosper says that, Poch should go to West Ham. Yeah.
To be honest, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Don't see that one.
Yeah, of course. And of course, Derek Hutchinson says that Eddie Howe will be a good fit at Spurs. When the 72 days debacle of looking for a manager, I was really shouting for Eddie Howe, right?
Yeah.
And I was shouting for Eddie Howe all the time, remember? Right? And what can we say about that, right? And no wonder Celtic have a couple of Japanese players. More than a couple of Japanese players in what? I think Celtic has about 4 or 5 Japanese players.
There's 4 now. Yeah. There's 3. And then the guy, I can't remember, but it was the J League Player of the Year. Yeah. He's signed as well. There's Hatati and Maeda and Kyogo. And there's 5 because
Maeda, right? One is Maeda, Kyogo.
Maeda, Hatati, and Kyogo.
There's
Maeda
one more.
And Kyogo both scored yesterday.
Yeah.
And Hatati, Hatati.
And of course, Iverman says that I hope Conte stays. But the problem is that if Conte stays, right, and let's see how long I'm going to stay for. But hold on, guys. Let me bring on one more guest. Hi, Kuva.
Oh, Kuva, get your checkbook out. Kuva, get your checkbook out.
At least it'll be somebody Spurs related that gets the checkbook out.
Kuva, you met Keshav, right, Kuva?
Yeah, I've certainly seen Dishover on stream at some point, but I don't know if we've been on at the same time.
No, I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure.
so.
No,
He's a West Ham fan, so yeah,
familiar
he's
face without meeting. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
got
Nice
right.
meeting you.
Yeah, Dave Hofstra says, I thought we would get Howard, then Nuno was sacked, and we got Conte. Yeah, and that's the sad part, right? And let me go on to one more, right? We should bring in Kermit the Frog. It doesn't matter who, right? Oh, Kuva, sorry. Okay, Kuva, how are you doing? Were you on Savas earlier?
No, he was doing a solo stream, and then he started bringing some guests on, and I thought,
Yeah. I was on there for a
only
while.
so many
With
times you can
Democratic.
talk about exactly the same thing over and over.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
I'll give that a little guess, a little miss, and then I thought I'll talk about something a bit slightly different angle on it today, coming on your stream.
No, that's why I got Keshav. Keshav is here to more or less give us a different opinion of their owners, right? You see, at least now, right, Keshav knows, right, that Moyes can't bring the team forward anymore, right? And at least their club has more or less came out with a statement that says that we're going to give Moyes 3 more games, right, as a chance to prove himself. What has our club done?
You could say there's similarities. It's just we've got lucky at times. That's not a lot. There's a lot of teams like it. I mean, West Ham aren't in the same boat. Aren't in a boat by themselves. You look at Everton, Villa. You know, there's some really big clubs that have just been badly run over the years. Thing is, with West Ham, I think they must be incredibly frustrating for their fans, because whenever you look like you're going somewhere, it's like somebody pops the bubble. Now, pun intended.
No
and
pun
you fall back down again. And it just seems to be the rinse and repeat cycle you have. We hold at this sort of 5th, 4th place level for long periods of time and never go further. And you fluctuate wildly from every sort of 2 or 3 seasons. And it's frustrating either way round, because neither team's going to be winning anything like this.
Yeah, but at least they've at least Keshav is grateful that Moyes has brought them to the at least Europa Cup for one time, Conference League for one time. They've been in Europe, right? And for our fan base, right, we've been put into this mindset that our ambitions are much higher. We want to win the league, we want to win the FA Cup, we want to win a cup. We don't care what cup, just a cup, right? So that's our fan base. But at least West Ham has got clear ambitions, right? I'm sure that if they, along the way this season, if they win the Conference League, right, with Moyes, they'll be jumping over the moon.
Of course they will. It's a trophy.
Yeah.
I'd love to win the Conference League this season, but we're not in it. I'd sooner take that over being in the Champions League and just getting knocked out yet again, doing nothing.
Yeah.
I want to see one of our players holding a trophy over their head. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's something I want to put on my wall behind me. I don't want to put a picture of the number 4 there. It's pretty.
You can put number 3, number 4, number 5, right?
Yeah,
number 7.
Exactly. Or a picture of the stadium, because there's still no trophies or anything. Yeah. It's going to get to the points where we'll have the accountancy reports pinned up on the wall behind, because we can look at the profit loss margin and then the figure at the bottom.
Graham, the accounts make good reading. I mean, if you're a shareholder, the accounts make really good reading.
Yeah, compared to the football, they probably do, and I'm not into that.
Yeah.
But what I was really wanted to sort of touch on today is when we're talking about managers after Conte, because let's face it, whether you're Conte in or Conte out at the moment, it's irrelevant in a way, because he will go at some point. It's a question of, does he go after the transfer window, end of the season? Does he even extend the contract by a year, like that they could agree to? Does he sign a new contract? It doesn't matter what he does. At some point, he does go. So this is not this sort of long-term solution to all the problems at Spurs. Is he the short-term solution? I don't believe he is, because we won't get the massive investment needed to basically rejuvenate this squad that has been built over the course of time to be bang average with a few good players scattered in. We wouldn't even have somebody the caliber of Harry Kane in the side if we'd had to buy him. It's only because he came through the academy that we've got him. If we had to shell out 70, 80 million for him, no chance. So we've got lucky in some ways. Now, what I want to touch on is people saying bringing back Pochettino pointless, dead against it. And I think, yeah, there's a point in that as well. He's not going to fix things now either, but he could do if we change the philosophy of the club, which would be we're going to invest in young, really talented players, bring the average age of the team down, and let Poch do what he does. But it's going to take 5 years. It's going to take, a 10-year philosophy.
But if the club came out and told us that, right, maybe most of our fan base will accept it, understand it, right? But they never say anything, right? They won't. That's the problem. Like before you hopped on, I was telling Ian and Kesha, if we get Poch in, we would have to sell 80%, get rid of 80% of the players that we have in the squad now, because they are not the Poch players. They don't have
including Kane and Sonny.
Including Kane and Sonny, because Kane and Sonny are too old already, right? Yeah. And most probably the only left players that we will be holding on to will be mostly Brian Hill, Pape Matesa, right, and Udoji, right, and Spence, right, and maybe Richarlison will be our main target striker at the moment. And big up to Chun Yao, big up. Chun Yao's I think he's a Chelsea fan, right, Chun Yao, if I'm not mistaken, right? Big up, thanks for your support, right? But at the moment, like you said, we'll be going backwards again. We'll be regressing again, right? We're not moving forward. But but we know that our owners never support any managers, right? That's why Poch is being lined up. We all see it, right? To take over from Conte, right? Because Conte became the panic appointment, the stopgap manager to appease the fans, to keep the stadium full, right? And to prevent the stadium from chanting every home game, the song that is so beautiful to hear now at the stadium, right? Levy, get out of our club, right? Levy out. But the thing is that's what he did. That's why a lot of the Levy out movement stopped, right, when Conte was appointed, right? But now it's coming back again. That's how I see it. Right? It's coming back again.
I was going to ask Keshav, from West Ham point of view, what do you feel with your owners? What's their long-term goal as far as you're concerned? Do you think they genuinely want the club to win things, or are they just looking to, make a bit of money on the quiet and fool the fans? Because that's what I feel we've done with our club.
To be honest, I think the owners would want just the best for our club. And I think our targets, to be honest, is just to maintain consistency and maybe try and reach for FA Cup trophy, to be honest, because especially coming from the West Ham fan base, we really don't want that much, because what we all want is just to give 100%, play for the shirt and play attacking football, because to be honest, that's actually what I want, and right now it's not happening. I would like to see the board show some ambition, but unfortunately, I'm sure Spurs fans will agree with me, is that when it comes to recruitment, our board is not really good at it. We don't have a very good structure of how to organize a recruitment team. Our scouts, I don't know who are the scouts that are doing scouting of players or potential players. Because our board, to be honest, don't get me wrong, the board has done some good things, but at the end of the day, they're not really good owners, to be honest with you. And I hope they go. I hope they will be looking to sell the club, but that's far from. I think that will happen. It won't happen right now. I think probably happen maybe in 6 years, to be honest, because I don't think it's going to happen. But and to be honest, I think I agree to the fact that Tottenham likes to, or whenever a team is in a panic situation, you like to get panic managers, same as our owners. They are like that, especially in the fact that I think we sacked Pellegrini, I think 2 or 3 years ago. We bought Moyes in just for panic buy, which is exactly what we did. And the owners love to do that. So same thing.
Yeah.
It's easier to sack a manager than buy a whole load of players for them.
It's Spurs. Remember, we got shitty recruitment. you just like Spurs. We got shitty recruitment too, right? And Shunya, sorry, yeah. Now I know, right? And Happy New Year to you and Ame too, right? And hope you guys had a good festive season, right? And a celebration, right? Yeah. What you just said just now, Keshav, right? Is just what all our Spurs fans are feeling now, right? Our recruitment, we spent, like Ian was saying earlier, we've been throwing money down the drain, right, in buying players, right? And out of buying 7 or 8 players, right, for about, let's say, 150 million pounds, did we spend about 100? Let's say we spent about 100 million pounds this season, right? You could see that. What were the players that we actually are using now, right? We are, Richarlison is injured, right? And the worst part is now, even Decky is injured, Bendencourt is injured, right? And all of a sudden, we have actually lost our total attacking prowess, right? And we can see that in Kane and Son, right? In the past seasons, right? Kane and Son was carrying that burden, and when Decky came in, Decky helped them, right? To be how I call more another choice in that scenario. And now with Bentoncourt coming in and solidifying our midfield, right? And all of a sudden we lose all this, right? We just look like lost lambs running around in a football pitch, not knowing what to do, right? And it was so evident in the Aston Villa game, right? Aston Villa just sat back with 11 men behind, right? And we couldn't break them down. So, like I've been saying, right? We are more lost than we know. And I've been saying, most probably we're going to lose the next 5 games coming up. It doesn't matter who we play against because the players are not there anymore to play, right? But at least for you, right, at the moment, your board has at least came out to say that we're giving you a moist chance to do something, right? And to be honest, if you guys get Bielsa in, I guess the West Ham players will more or less be running scared shit.
If West Ham get Bielsa in, they're either going to be 6th place plus in a season's time, or they're going to get relegated. There's nothing in between. It's wild, crazy times. I really like Bielsa, to be honest. I love that style of football.
It would be a risk, though, Kuva. I mean, I really agree with that because you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's the same with a lot of managers, though. It's there's very few come with a money back guarantee. Mourinho came with a money back guarantee, but we had to get our money back. It's.
But like I said,
Sorry,
I was saying about, I think when before he came on, I was saying about Brentford, who have done very well in terms of recruitment. And you look at also Brighton, who they've, to be honest, they've actually got the same model, to be honest. And I like the way they've recruited players. And they play a very good style of football. They've got very good players. And I don't know why teams are not really looking at their philosophy. Because I feel that, especially if you look at how Brentford beat Liverpool yesterday, I don't know whether you guys watched the game, but because my brother's a Liverpool fan, he's so frustrated right now, to be honest. He's thinking, why is Klopp playing the same midfield? Why is Liverpool not getting Bellingham and all this stuff? So coming back to Brentford, they play good football. They, of course, against Liverpool, it's not easy to play against, so you probably have to play 11 men behind the ball. You have to sit deep, and that's what Brentford did. And they kept putting crosses in, long balls in, trying to get Mbuemo and Yohan Wissa to try and score. And they did that. It's not always about possession, and it's about like what Aston Villa did. I think they sat back and they counted. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure. I didn't watch the game.
I think the trouble with the Brentford philosophy is if you're a relatively smaller club, such as them. It's a brilliant plan, absolutely amazing. It's based on the Moneyball idea that they've got from America, and there's the movie about it. With Brad Pitt.
They don't even have a youth academy, Brentford. That's the best part.
Yeah, they don't. And then
they don't have a youth academy.
It's fantastic to implement that at a club. You can get really benefit from it, and some of the bigger clubs partially implement it. The trouble is for the likes of Spurs, and maybe you could tell me I'm deluded for still thinking this. But I believe Spurs should still be regarded as an elite club. We're just not doing a very good job at it.
Of course, we are an elite club.
For an elite club, elite clubs don't win one League Cup in 2 years, so we're not, are we? But we should be. That's what it. So the Moneyball idea at elite clubs only goes so far. You have to abandon it at some point and realise you have to pay premium prices for premium players, and that model goes out of the window at that point. I think that's the acceptance we have to have at our club. We have owners that will not abandon a model.
But we do pay big money for players, and the like Ndombele, like Lo, etc., and they turn out to be duds. So I think part of the problem is the recruitment has been so awful. And I was talking before you came on air, Kuva, but we recruited Brian Gill. Now I think we've probably seen the last of him in a Tottenham shirt after that performance. On Sunday, or Monday, when was it? I've lost track. Sunday, where
Sunday.
he was so off the pace and so lacking in the qualities needed for a Premier League player. And we paid somewhere in the region of 25 million plus Lamela, a £20 million player. So you're talking about 45 million. So I was saying, as I say, some people have heard this already, but just for Kuva's benefit, it's 120 million pounds we've absolutely swamped against the wall. And it's, that's to me been the major problem. And Gill was a Paratici signing. So
Emerson was a Paratici signing.
Have to get better at that. And you talk about Brentford. Brentford have been very, very big. And I think they may have been one of the pioneers of football analytics before they buy players. But, they go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. And their recruitment has been absolutely superb. Players performing above their ability. Plus, they've got an outstanding coach. An absolutely outstanding coach. But anyway, sorry, that's just adding to what you were saying, mate.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Hold on.
Sorry, just go on.
Just hold on. Just before we continue this chat, right? I have to do this for Mr. Brian Daigle, right? For all you guys who are Spurs fans, right, in Asia, right, drop a leave it out, in it out, right, hashtag, right, on the AIA, right, website, right, and to show your displeasure, right. This is what the Asian movement is going to do against Levy, right, to actually show Levy, right, the Asian fans are displeased with what's happening with our club. Guys, hopefully you can do that for me, right? All the Asian fans, right? It doesn't matter whether you're a Spurs fan, whether you're a whatever club fan, right? Do that for me, right? Just to give us some support, to show that Levy has to get out of our club now. Okay, back to the show.
I'll add to that as well. It's a thought I had the other night after seeing a picture from the darts championship, and the camera picked out somebody with a Levy out. And it just made me think, let's do a photo bomb thing. Every opportunity, just get a Levy out somewhere. Do it like planking. If we have a little unofficial competition amongst fans, see where you can get your Levy out poster on there, or a little selfie with it at somewhere important. What if you could get like one of the presidential aides to hold up a Levy out poster? Mind-blowing. It'd be absolutely ridiculous, but people will talk about it. And I think that's what needs to happen, is people really need to talk about this stuff. It's not no side. I don't believe anybody that's Levy in or anybody that's Levy out genuinely wants the club to do badly. This is all about what we think the club needs to do. Too many of us now are turning to this ownership's not going to do it. We're talking about massive reform needed or leave. I would actually be okay if Levy changed everything about what he does on the football side. Puts in a team of advisors that are football men to make those decisions for him. I just don't believe it'll ever happen. So,
Hoover, are you going to bleach that leopard?
Yeah, why not?
Then it would be animal cruelty then.
Yeah, it would be. But I mean, it's cruelty to humans watching our team at the moment.
That's true.
Yeah, I think the other thing about the recruitment is you have to also look at examples such as how many of the fans are saying we need better defenders. Practically all of us. And part of our recruitment in the summer, Udogie, £15 million, not even at the club. 18 million on Papa Mate Sarr, doesn't even kick a ball. 20 million on Jed Spence, doesn't kick a ball. Well, 3 minutes of play. 50 million left undrawn from the funds that were injected into the club earlier in the year. That's 103 million. And yet our attempt at addressing the defence is to get a player on loan.
Who's no better than Davis. I wouldn't play.
I think he's a mild upgrade at best, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about recruitment, right? And talking about recruitment during summer. Look at what West Ham did, right? They got Paqueta, they got Samaka, and what did we get? Oh, That's the difference between our recruitment and a lot of clubs recruitment, right? We recruit players not for the manager, right? But we recruit players for the club, right? But I want to ask Keshav this: was Paqueta and Samaka a Moyes appointment?
Good question, because I do think it is, because okay, I want to make a point is that what I feel Moyes is as a manager, and I don't know whether you guys agree with me on this, but he's like Thomas Frank in a way that you set up your team to defend and go and counter attack, and that's what we've been doing. Or I would say that is how West Ham play. That is the identity of how we play. But then when Moyes said during the preseason, he said that he wanted to add players who could add creativity into our play and add a bit of firepower into the side. And I thought, okay, we brought Skamaka and Pakate, which I think are unbelievable players. But then you're thinking, how are you going to embed a counter-attacking style into those type of players? It's quite difficult. Either you have to completely shift into a new identity, which we have done, and it's not worked out. So in a way, is that, don't get me wrong, the players I don't think are fit into the style, or it's just that they are not used to the Premier League, or they just need more time. And I don't think the players will come to good, but I just don't think it's going to be with Moyes. That is how I feel, because I feel Moyes is very one-dimensional. I think if you see in the games against Arsenal and Brentford, he kept playing the same way. There is no identity. Before, or 2 seasons ago, we had an identity. I remember Jesse Lingard came in from Manchester United on loan, and he revolutionized the way we played just for a short period of time and helped us to get Europa League. But this time, it's the fact that we are in a relegation battle. Especially Moyes doesn't want to admit the fact that we are in that, and he will say these deluded things like we are fighting for Europa League and all that bullshit which he keeps saying, but it's not the truth. The truth is we are in a relegation battle, and we have to admit the fact of that. And to be honest, I'm worried, but I am confident that we have the players to stay up. It's not like, but to be honest, I just want us to get a couple of wins, and we're playing Leeds, which I don't think, I'm sure it's not an easy game, and they've got some very good players there. But I just feel like if we start to go 1-0 down or 2-0 down, then there's going to be some
That's the story of Spurs.
uh,
Have to go down 1-0 down, 2-0 down.
rants coming out and from West Ham fan channels and all that. So, but I just want the best.
Are you playing Leeds at home or away?
We're playing away, so
Okay.
it's not going to be easy lah. But we need a response. We really need a response. But I hear the West Ham fans keep saying, no, let's lose more games. If we keep losing, the reason the West Ham fans want the team to lose because they want Moyes to go. Let's be honest, because right now we keep saying we want Moyes to go, but the board keeps saying let's back Moyes. But the fact of that is that why haven't you done it before the World Cup? The World Cup was 6 weeks ago. We should have sacked him then. And but it is.
You wanted to sack him, you should have sacked him then. But I don't think they will. Yeah, right. But don't forget, Keshav, when I first did the first show with you, right, when you debuted on Spursvision TV, right? If guys, don't forget, please smash the like. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Why got to do this, right? Subscribe to Spursvision TV, right? If I'm not mistaken, when you first joined Spursvision TV and you did your debut, right, West Ham was bottom of the league at that period of time, weren't you? If I'm not mistaken, at that period of time, or you were in the relegation zone.
I think so. I'm not mistaken. I have to check back when I went on the first show. So yeah, I'll check.
And you actually moved up with about 3 or 4 wins along the way, and you went back up the mid-table, but now you're falling back down, right? But what you've been saying is very, very, very true. Like for us Spurs fans, right? When we brought in Conte, we knew Conte's style of play from day one. He's like what you said, a more of a counter-attacking style that he has, right? More or less, right? And he needs his players to play the more creative and more advanced kind of attacking style that he has. He plays, but we are not giving him the players to do that. But at the moment now, you guys are hoping for Moyes to lose, right? So your owners will sack Moyes, right? For us Spurs fans, right, we are still deluded, right? Hoping for Conte to win, right? For Conte either to stay or whatever needs to happen. But for me is that I see that Conte is going to lose the next 3 or 4 games down the line. And the way I see it, he's checked out and his game card is to be sacked, right? Because what Levy does is that once we drop out of the European spots, right? If we drop down to 8 or 7, right? that's when the red flags will be coming up, and he'll be gone in within the next 2 or 3 days. Right? That's how I see it. That's why I said, don't expect us to. Okay, guys, let's go on to the preview side of the show. Right? We are playing Palace on Wednesday. Keshav, you're playing Leeds tonight, right?
No, Thursday morning.
You're getting the late game.
Thursday morning.
You're playing Leeds on Thursday morning, right? And to tell the truth, right, I'm going to ask our Spurs panel here, right? Let's start with Ian. Do you think we'll beat Crystal Palace away?
No, I wish I had confidence. West Ham are playing tomorrow at the same time as 15 minutes before we are. Just double checking that. I've got no confidence at the moment with the injuries, suspensions, the way the team's playing, the way the team's set up. You know, with Conte, if he's checked out, he's checked out. It's a sad state of affairs, but I went into the post-World Cup thinking, you know, Romero's won the World Cup. Lloris had a good run in it. Perisic played really well. Will really come in. Yeah, tell me about it. We'll really come back raring to go. What have you? The performances seem to be good in the training. Everything seemed to be set up. And look, where are we now? I'm not optimistic. I said earlier, I think January could be a very, very tough month. Palace tomorrow, I think we'll get beat. I think we might get well beat, which will be another problem if we go down 2-3-0. Pompey in the cup. Who knows? Who knows what team he'll put out? And then we got Arsenal and Manchester City. By the end of January, it could get really, really nasty. 4 a.m. That's wherever that message has come from.
My time zone, the game tomorrow for
your time zone? So that's Malaysia time.
Thursday 4 a.m. Yeah, Thursday 4 a.m.
Yeah, great time.
Happy New Year, Swifty. Haven't seen you sometime, Swifty. Big up to you.
I don't think. Hi, Mark. I don't think I would be getting up at 4 a.m. to watch this Tottenham side. That's for certain. So it could all get very nasty soon, and I'm afraid I've got no optimism that we can go to Crystal Palace and get anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and Cool, what do you think?
Right, against Villa, I think I saw Nuno in that side. I saw no hope. I saw no style of play, no invention. No coherence, couldn't defend, couldn't attack. It was absolutely hopeless. It's the kind of football I don't want to watch. The only reason I'm going to watch the Palace game is because I promised Judge Jody on Paxton Road that I'll do the player ratings. That's the only reason. I literally mean it when I say I don't want to watch the game. That's how bad our club is at the moment. I do not enjoy watching us. The only reason I'd ever want to watch us now is just because Kulusevski's plays. He's the sort of shining light at the moment. As for the result at Palace, I don't know, 2-0, 3-0 Palace. I don't even care at this point. I'm just hoping we fall further and further into calamitous decline that it forces Levy to do something.
Yeah, you can tolerate bad football if you're grinding out results. Tolerate, not enjoy. You can tolerate bad results if you're playing good football. And again, use the word tolerate. What's intolerable is bad results coupled with awful football. That's not tolerable. Certainly not for a club like Tottenham.
Yeah. I'm hard to please, Ian. I don't tolerate any bullshit unless it's good football and winning.
Yeah, and guys, to let you know, right, while watching that Villa game, it brought me PTSD. You know, I remember at one period of time, right, I was shouting. You know, back then in my mind, I was shouting at Spurs player watching this TV screen. Why aren't you going forward?
Yeah. Eugene, I must tell Mark Swift that Kuva pays the hosts quite considerable sums of money to be on YouTube broadcast.
Kuva's a good friend.
It's my joke. You can't use it back at me.
Yeah.
This joke's probably run its course, but it
Get
keeps
your own
coming back.
material.
Yeah. I heard that on Bob's Spur too. Between you and Clover, right? But no, tell truth.
Good
No,
reply.
truth, right? I got PTSD watching the Villa game. It brought me memories of something like 10, 15 years ago when I was keep shouting at the screen. Why aren't you going forward? Why aren't you passing the ball forward? Why you keep going backwards? Why no, it's all coming back, And the thing is that whenever this happens, right? The next thing I know, the manager is gone. Seriously, the next thing I know, the manager is gone. But that's what Eva Man says. That exactly, right? PTSD. I don't know. Being a Spurs fan, this is what happens to you, right? But I'm not sure what Kesha feels, right? For me, I already said my prediction, right? I think Conte is so frustrated now. You don't be surprised, right? Instead of Højbjerg and Skippy playing in midfield, we'll be playing Pape Matesa with Skippy in midfield, right? You will see Jet Spence, right, playing on the right, right, for Doherty, right? And then you see Sessegnon playing on behalf of Perisic, right? Of course, we have no choice, but we still have to play Kane and Son, right? And you see the whole revised team playing against Palace tomorrow. Don't be surprised, right? Because since he's already brought them on, right, during the halftime. And don't forget, Brian Hill will most probably be our most creative player in the team. Oh dear. I don't know. I think I'm going crazy.
I think, Eugene, that might be close to the team that plays against Pompey.
Yeah. No, he won't play that team against Pompey. He'll play that team against Palace, and then he'll put out his full team against Pompey, and we'll lose again against Pompey, right? But okay, let's get out to Keshav. Keshav, you're playing Leeds away, right? And Moyes has only got one style of playing: lob the ball long to Antonio. When even Antonio is not there, he'll lob the ball long there, right? Right. But do you think you have any chance of actually beating Leeds this coming?
To be honest, I'm a little bit optimistic, but at the same time, I think we're going to lose. To be honest, because not because the fact we're going to sack Moyes, but I think it's just that I just don't think. To be honest, a lot of fans keep saying that Moyes is not going to turn it around. I do believe the fact of that because I just feel his style is outdated. I don't know whether you've watched the games, but I think his style of play, to be honest, was boring. It's boring, to be honest, because the last two seasons ago when we were in or 3 seasons ago when we were in the relegation battle, I was perfectly fine, to be honest, that Moyes was the manager and he did what he needed to keep us up. That was fine. But now when you want to get to the next level, or shall we call it the next bracket, you need another manager to do that for you. I just feel that Moyes is not the type of manager to be able to get the best out of this place. And I feel that against Leeds is going to be another high-pressure game, a must-win game. And even a draw won't help us. If we lose, it's worse. It gets worse for us. But if the board are really going to back Moyes, then fine. If you can say that, then just, it's good. We've had a few reliable sources that say that Moyes is staying. And it's good that, if the board are willing to back the manager, then it's fine with me. But it's now time for Moyes to turn it around. If he wants to keep his job, then he has to do that. But if he loses against Leeds, then of course the rant will come and all that. But I'm going to predict 2-1 Leeds.
2-1 to Leeds. Okay.
I think Leeds are a very good team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But my biggest fear is, right, if we put our youth team out there against Palace and we beat Palace, right, then the whole fan base will go, you see, you should have played Spence, you should have and it's Conte's problem again. So I don't know, but as I see
I've got a feeling West Ham might beat Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
I think Leeds tend to struggle when they're up against somebody that holds a sort of rigid defensive frame to the team, and they can't break it down. They sort of run around a little bit mindlessly at times. They're always open to being counter-attacked. You don't need to be at your best when you're attacking the score against Leeds. I think you might get something out of that because even when it's going badly, Moyes, it does at least set up the team with some sort of shape to it. There's some sort of structure to defending and keep trying to keep a clean sheet where possible. Not doing it all that well, but I think they might just turn Leeds over.
Yeah, big up, Nick. Ranjit, right? Barry, right? Right. I'm not sure if you want to join us, right? But most probably I won't be going on too long. But to tell the truth, right? What I see with Leeds against West Ham, remember when we played Leeds, right? We played them away, right? We let them score 3 goals and we came back and scored 4 goals. So if West Ham, if Moyes could actually get a tune out of their strikers and their attacking formation, right? Maybe they will have a chance against Leeds. That's the problem. That's why Keshav's very fearful now, is because what he says is that Moyes doesn't have that nuance to actually play what called Samaka and Antonio together, right? To play a double strike team up front. He always plays with a single striker up front, and he lobs the ball up there. And hope, because I think all this while, what West Ham has actually depended on is actually Mikel Antonio, right, to actually hold up that attacking prowess. And if whenever Antonio is not there, right, you guys lose a lot, right? And of course, Samaka is not the kind of player, and he doesn't have another way to actually go around it to give Samaka the ball to actually create something. That's how I see it. But with Paqueta there being more of creating midfielder that you guys have, right? Because Paqueta is a Brazilian and all that, right? He's supposed to be the spark, right, to your attack. But at the moment, even that is not working, because maybe whenever you lob the ball forward, Paqueta doesn't get the ball. He's in midfield, right? That's how I see it. Right.
And it seems, I think I also like to make another point that Declan Rice will leave. I'm sure you guys will know the fact of that.
Don't block Nick. Don't block Nick. Yeah, it's good to have his support, especially when he's awake, right? Yeah. No, sorry, Kesha. You were saying.
Saying that I'll be saying this right now. I'm 100% confident that Rice will leave. He's always set his mind on Chelsea.
Yeah.
And to be honest, this is the worst way for Rice to leave the club, because we are in this position. And to be honest, if I don't know how much you're going to get out of him. Probably 80, 90 million. I know Chelsea are going to sign Enzo Fernandez, if I'm not mistaken, according to Fabrizio Romano. But it seems like he's a good player. But I think Rice has set his sights on Chelsea. He was from the Chelsea Youth Academy, so it's a shame that if he wants to go back to Chelsea, then it's a fact of that. But like I said, I just heard rumors today that Man City might be looking to do a deal with us to swap Rice for Calvin Phillips, which to be honest, I really don't mind that. I think Calvin Phillips is a very good player, but Man City would, if Rice goes to Man City, he will probably have a great career there. I mean, Man City are, I don't know,
different level. Yeah,
different level.
Yeah, different. But the thing is that now, all of a sudden, when Potter comes in, right, the Rice rumors going to Chelsea has actually died down. That's how I see it, right? And of course, Happy New Year to Fuad Farah. Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, right? And whatever has happened to the Rice rumors going to Chelsea has died down. And now the M City one comes up. To tell the truth, Rice just needs to get out of West Ham now. I think he doesn't mind going anywhere, just as long as he goes to a top 4 club that plays Champions League football. That's more or less his ambition. You don't be surprised, Keshav. Rice might end up in Newcastle.
I don't. To be honest, looking at Newcastle right now, I'm a bit jealous, to be honest. But look, they got owners who are like Man City and oil money, to be honest.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what oil money or whatever money, right? Just on a club moves forward, right, and win things.
That's the crazy thing, isn't it? They've spent less than Tottenham. If you take out Isaac out of the equation, they've spent less than Tottenham over the same period since the new owners came in. Look at the difference.
Yeah, and they got Eddie Howe. Look at the difference.
Yeah, and they're doing very well, to be honest. Must be give them a bit of praise, but.
A lot of our fans couldn't even see that Eddie Howe's a good manager. That's what it is. Always say it's a regular thing. If they come from either lower division or they're at the foot of the table, it means they're no good, according to a lot of fans. I suppose it's the same for fans on most clubs, to be honest. But it's a bad way of viewing things. You should look at potential.
Yeah. And for I think you're an M City fan, is it? Yeah, I can't see your badge there, but he says that we're also interested in Declan Rice. But the question is, is that we could pay the 100 million, or he could end up in Chelsea. I don't know.
Of
No,
course,
but the
Man
thing is
City
that
will pay them 100 million. They've got the money.
yeah, MCT can pay the 100 million, but let's say if he's doing a swap deal with Calvin Phillips, right? Maybe he'll just throw 30 million for Calvin Phillips and pay you another 50 million up front, and then the rest will be all in incentives, right? So MCT can throw whatever money they want, right? But the weird thing now is that the rumors about Rice going to Chelsea has actually died down. Maybe Potter doesn't want him, right? Don't forget, because Potter now is in charge, right? And of course, now Chelsea is not doing too well there, right? Being a Chelsea manager, but the things that, of course, we are looking at, if that was Abramovich, right? He most probably be gone, right? But now we've got Bowley there. Maybe Bowley will give Potter 3 years to actually build something, right? But in that 3 years, if Chelsea don't get back into the Champions League or win something, right? What will their fan base feel? Right? That's my question at the moment, right? What will their fan base feel? Will they go into a meltdown? Will they collapse and go crazy all over again? Right? That's the thing, right?
Chelsea will go back into the top 4 at some point. It's a question of time.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
So many. I think the real question I've got about Chelsea at the moment is, I think we're all aware about how a new owner can come in and they don't have to apply the same levels of financial fair play as the rest of the teams. They get that little period of grace where they can throw a lot of money in. But what's happening at Chelsea? You've got to wonder how much are they allowed to? You get the feeling they're going to throw £1 billion in and just stick their fingers up to the FFP and say, "Go on, then. You're not going to throw us out of the Champions League or the Premier League, so we'll get away with it, just like City did."
That's true. That's true. To tell the truth, all this FFP, right? I think it's just all just written there to look good, and they don't implement anything. No, most they'll just slap them on the wrist and say that, okay, you can't do any transfer for 2 windows and blah blah blah. They won't throw you out of the league. They won't throw you out of
with the threat of the Super League still on the horizon.
That's why
they can't afford to say no. We're punishing you heavily, because clubs will start going, right, we're off to do the Super League then. See ya. And they've lost their big pool, their big fish on show with their products. Premier League can't afford to. FIFA with the Champions League can't afford to.
UEFA won't do that too.
Sorry.
Yeah, and the most of it, right? They will just slap a 50 million pound fine on them or something, like 50 million euro fine on them, and then they'll just pay it, right? In installments, in the same thing, right? 5 years we'll pay it off. Right. And of course, Fuad says that I don't understand why we signed Calvin Phillips. The guy can't stay healthy. Fuad, I don't even understand why you signed Grealish. He can't stay healthy. Right. The thing is that I actually wish that Man City, instead of paying the 100 million pounds for Grealish, should have given Levy 150 to 200 million pounds to get Kane, right? And let's see what happened then, right? But that never happened, right? That's what happened, right? Of course, and then of course Nick, right? If they're under 21s, and also it doesn't count. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, there was a thing that's saying that they are paying that nearly 124 million pounds for the Enzo Fernandez, because it won't count the FFP because he's actually a 21-year-old player, right?
No.
Player, right?
Loads of loopholes to exploit, but at the end of the day, they are putting a shock in.
Yeah, Eugene, you've got some editing to do there. Sorry, Kuva, I've just.
Yeah, I know. Yay, we've got sex bots! Yay! Yeah, that means we're famous now. Whenever we get sex bots onto our chats. No, but of course, for what I was saying, Eugene, Gundogan, contract expires in the summer. Would you take him to Spurs? Honestly, Gundogan will take him, but actually he's not one of the type of players that we need at the moment, right, guys? We need 2 center backs, right? We need left and right wing backs, right? And of course, we need a backup striker, another backup striker, right? That's what we need. And of course, what Fuad is saying now is that Grealish could be sold in the summer. I would love to have Rafael Leao or bring back Leroy Sané. That's true. Right. Yeah. It's true. But the thing is that we could have gotten Grealish 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was another Levy cock up.
Yeah.
Tried to nickel him down Villa, and then Villa got new owners and said, "We're not selling him."
To be fair, there's Sean Butler and I have disagreed on a lot of things. But he did say about Grealish, no other club wanted to get him at that price either. So it's not just on Levy. You've got to say nobody really went for it, did they?
Yeah, no, but the thing is that the talent was there, right? And it didn't cost so much money. I remember that scenario very well. We could have gotten him for £5 million, right? Before the new owners came in. Remember? Right? Before the Chinese owners came in.
That Eugene, but it was certainly a long way short of what they put.
No. We could have gotten him for £5 million. We moved late. The new owners came in. They said no, right? We have a plan for Grealish. If you want Grealish, right, give us 25, right? But Levy wouldn't want to give him 25, right? Levy just wanted to give him maximum is 20. So we lost Grealish. So the past is the past. It doesn't matter whether who wanted him, who nobody wanted him, but MCT paid 100 million for him. So it is what it is, right? And not to forget, we need a goalkeeper too, right? We need a goalkeeper.
We do need a goalkeeper. I tell you what, I wouldn't mind Forster starting. Watched a lot of Forster. I know it's a few years ago now, playing for Celtic. He's a decent keeper. He won't let you down. I'm fed up with the goals that Lloris is giving away at the moment. Bad goals, and they all seem to be the same goal. The ball coming to him, and he's not able quite straight at him, and he's not able to deal with it, and he's pushing it back into the field of, into the middle of the goal rather than to the side. Not good at the moment at all.
Yeah, I agree. When Forster first came to the Premiership and at Southampton, there was a season I rated him the best keeper in the Premier.
But Forster is a commanding goalkeeper. You can say he's big, right? So, but the problem is that I think Lloris his time is up, right? Lloris' time is up. And Keshav, who's your goalkeeper?
Currently, we have Fabianski, which I don't think he's doing pretty well. We have Areola. The French second choice, which I don't know why Moyes is not using him. For I don't know what reasons, but I think he's a good goalkeeper, Areola. I think that's it. We have and Darren Randolph. I think another guy.
Yeah. But the thing is that like what Fuad says now, Grealish slows the game down. Foden has to start against the clash. Oh yeah, MCT is playing Chelsea again, right, on Thursday. And if they don't beat Chelsea, they're going to fall further. I said this on whose stream, right? I think was it on Savas yesterday, Coover, right? I said it, right? Pep Guardiola has decided, right? He's going to give his apprentice the Premier League as a parting present. So, guys, Arsenal is going to win the Premier League, and us Spurs fans are going to moan about it, right? And cry about it, right? And let's see what we're going to do about it, right? That's all, right? And of course, what Nick says, right? The France Hugo is different from the Spurs Hugo because our defense are shit. We got Dyer, we got Davis, right? Who can't play in defense. Simple as that. That's why France Hugo is different from Spurs Hugo. That's how I see it, right? Sorry, guys, right? And of course, Fuad says Euro is past his prime. Yeah, Spurs should sign Diogo Costa from Porto. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
The goalkeeper.
Back Hugo Lloris. Just take, say, the Man United game when I think they had 28 shots at us, something like that. It was a ridiculously heavy amount. You don't see France facing 28 shots against them ever.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I said our defense is shit. So that's why Hugo Lloris is shit, right? It's part and parcel of the thing, right? But in the end of the day, right, let's say for what says, right, Eugene, we're not favored to win the league this year, but our backline is worse without Ruben Dias, Laporte, Walker, and Cancelo. It's worse without. Aren't they playing now? If I'm not mistaken. But Cancelo is a good right wing back, so if I'm not mistaken, right? Or left wing back, he goes forward, right? Yeah. But what do we say now? Diogo Costa, Porto, right? How much would it cost to bring him in? Number one. Will he want to come to Spurs? That's number two. That's my question, right?
Would anybody?
Yeah. He played for Portugal, right, in the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. Was he the Portuguese goalkeeper in the World Cup? Diego Costa, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, he was the Portuguese goalkeeper in the World Cup. So I mean, there were performances there, right? I mean, of course, losing to South Korea was part of performances.
Trying to think which ones. Which there's so many players called Costa.
Diego Costa, yeah. He's the Portuguese.
I think he's at Porto.
Porto, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's what Fuad says. He's at Porto, 22-year-old. Yeah, the thing is that, and don't forget, right? A lot of us are being linked to what our Spurs fans are saying. What the Leeds goalkeeper?
Malay, is it?
Melia, I'm a big fan. He's still got a mistake in him. Also looks a bit short, but I'm a big fan of his. I like him a lot.
I do too. He's 6'7" or something stupid, isn't he? He's really tall lad. I think he's very, very talented, and he's young, so he is going to make mistakes at the moment, but he will become better and better. Yeah.
But what about the Croatian goalkeeper, Livakovic? Livakovic and Bonu.
Oh, the from Southampton one.
No, Bonu from
Sevilla goalkeeper, is it?
There's always goalkeepers out there, aren't there? Always.
Yeah, but guys, don't be surprised. We'll get Golini back.
He probably cost too much
I've ever seen.
Oh dear. I think I'll faint to get Golini back, right?
He was like, I remember making the joke back in the height of the pandemic. Golini will be all right at the club because he can't catch anything.
Oh dear. And then of course what says that maybe Conte would sign Jens Sommer from Mönchengladbach. Jens Sommer is the Swiss goalkeeper.
Yeah, long term. He must have been around for ages.
Yeah, Jens Sommer used to play in the Premier League, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was. Who did he play for in the Premier League? Liverpool?
I feel like he was at Everton at some point, but I can't be sure on that.
Liverpool or Everton. Jens Sommer used to play in the Premier League, right? So yeah, that's how I see it. But
sorry,
go ahead, Ian.
No, I'm just checking Melia on Google. He's 22. He's still 22, 23 in March, and he's 1.97, which in old money is 6'6", which everything about that makes total sense.
But the only thing about Melia is, right, I think he's too skinny. He needs to bulk up a bit, right? A bit too skinny for me. If he bulks up a bit, he'll be like, you look at like Foster. He's big and tall, you see. Yeah, and then
Jennings was about that age when he came to Tottenham and was about that that physique as well. So
you need to put some.
I just realised it's not the same Sommer I'm thinking of from Premier League. I don't think Jan Sommer has actually been it.
Not this Jan Sommer. Okay.
No, there was certainly a player called Sommer at one point. I remember.
Yeah. It could be. Yeah.
A goalkeeper.
Yeah, goalkeeper Jan Sommer used to play in the Premier League.
No, I don't think he did. I think the Sommer that was in the Premier League was a different player.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, we wanted Nick Pope, to tell the truth, right? We wanted Nick Pope to come in, but of course, when Newcastle says, you go. When Newcastle now comes for you, you go. Simple as that, right? Yeah.
He wouldn't have been a good fit for us anyway because he's terrible with his feet. He's one of the best shot stoppers I've ever seen. But if you can't play out from the back in a team that insists on doing it, you're handicapping yourself.
Swiss keeper. Yep, Dave Prosper, some of the Swiss keeper, right? Played for Bars, Grasshopper, Mönchengladbach. Okay, never played in the Premier League. All right, and maybe that's a different Sommer that we're thinking about. Maybe it's a very old Sommer. Not this Summer.
Maybe it's one of those Mandela effect things. We all remember the Premiership, but he actually didn't.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Sommer didn't play in the Premiership. He played for, I think it said Grasshoppers before. Yeah. Won the Swiss Super League 4 times and then went to Borussia Mönchengladbach. So, sorry, I just done my Google. Oh, there it is. Oh, Basel was, Basel. Yeah, there you go. Someone else has done their work as well.
Yeah.
Are you having a pop there, mate? You having a pop?
Jürgen Sommer.
Okay. Robert, Spurs will need a world-class keeper like Alisson or Patois. We'll never get. We will never pay.
They're both on the transfer list here.
Are we going to pay 50 million for a goalkeeper? You think Livy will pay 50 million for a goalkeeper? No way, right?
I disagree. If it's a goalkeeper, that is the foundation of your entire team. You get a great goalkeeper and you can build on that.
But our owners will never pay that kind of money for a goalkeeper. That's how I see it.
Oh, we won't. But I mean, that's what he should be doing. If you want to build a successful winning team, you get a great goalkeeper in. That makes your defense better already.
That's true. Right. And of course, Guys, coming to the end of the show soon, right? Any last thoughts for the game coming up, and of course for Keshav, right? How like you've been saying, 3 more games for Moyes. If you win the 3 games, you guys will be happy. If you lose the 3 games, you'll be. I guess your fan base will be shouting Moyes out, right? Or your fan base is already shouting Moyes out, right?
No.
Yeah. So, yeah.
To be honest, I'm very tired of it. So,
You're very tired of it.
same thing, same repetitive thing. So, it's to be honest. When I think I started supporting West Ham, I think it was 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Why didn't you
it was-
choose Spurs?
No, not Spurs, please, no. Please God, no. But anyways, of course, I think that was when West Ham came up. I think it was Sam Allardyce, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2014, 15. I think we did pretty well, and then we, being as a West Ham fan, it's very difficult not to be argument angry or whatnot, but it's tough. But you have to go through. This is part of being a fan, and you have to just get used to it. You have to support your team up and down, and even if you want your club's in the best interest, and even sometimes your board doesn't or backs the manager, even you want your manager to go, it's how it is. We just have to go with the flow and just have to support the team. It's how it is. But to be honest,
but Keshav, is your fan base united, right? Do you all sing from the same hymn sheet? And do you have a divide there? There are some who want Moyes in, there are some who want Moyes out. Like our Spurs fan base is so divided, right? In all these type of things.
Don't get me wrong. I'll say this, that yes, you of course we have fans who are divided. I'm sure they are. I don't know how many. I don't know what is the percentage or whatnot. But I do listen to Western Fan TV, a very popular Western channel, Summers Chat and a few others. They all say the same thing, all the same opinions. That's what I have is that if you want to progress, or if Western want to progress, you need to have consistency, and that's a very good, important way. Consistency, not just the win or not just the style of play. You have to have the consistency in the identity of how you play. What is your philosophy? How you implement into the play? Because it's very important. And right now, every time we have a philosophy, it is not consistent. Our vision is not consistent. What's happening on the pitch? And if you need to have those aligned together, if you don't have those aligned together, then there's a problem. And whenever we have managers coming in, there is no idea of what philosophy you have, because what I feel is our philosophy is sit back, defend, and counter attack. We've always been a counter attacking team. That's how we've always been. And to be honest, that's how Moyes has been, to be honest. And right now we are not suiting, or probably he's not suiting the way he wants to implement his players, because right now it's like putting a player, hoping for him to adapt to your style of play. To be honest, the players you have are not suited to counter attack. Let's be fair, they're not. They are more of a possession-based type of football, which I don't think Moyes is. And what I'm hoping for is just let's see what happens. Just have to back the team. And I hope we do win against Leeds, but let's see what's the outcome.
That's good. That's good. And Fuad Farah, let me know where you're from. If you're from Malaysia, if you want to hop onto some of our shows, right? Just let me know. I'm just trying to gather more Malaysian football fans, right, to join Spurs Vision TV and talk about football, right? So, and if you've got some Spurs fans from Malaysia who like to join, that will be a gem for me to find, right? I've been searching for a Malaysian football fan to join me on Spurs Vision TV for the past 2 years. I mean, consistently. I do have some friends, but they just hop on and they sometimes don't even jump on, right? And okay, Fuad is saying now, Ten Hag will get Costa in the summer, right? And of course, he will sell David De Gea. Would Spurs take him? Would we take De Gea?
No.
No.
That's a step back. That's what's the point of one old goalkeeper for another? De Gea's still got great games in him. Since Henderson challenged him, he suddenly got a new lease of life. No, that's where at least Levy's right, not bringing in old players with no. In fact, it's not even residual value as a player that's just simply going to get worse. He's not going to improve from where he is. So no way.
Yeah. Coover, would you want De Gea?
No. Doesn't. It's totally unrealistic anyway. Doesn't fit that criteria of young player. He's 33, something like 34 maybe. perhaps a bit younger. It doesn't matter anyway. He's certainly not a spring chicken anymore, and he'll be on massive wages.
Yeah.
We're not going to be doing that.
Yeah, of course we don't talk about Spurs and wages, right? We don't pay massive wages, so I think our wages cap is somewhere around £150,000 to £200,000, unless you're Harry Kane, he's getting 250 if I'm not mistaken, right? That's how it goes. So that's why we never get the quality players to come in. We don't pay the wages, so let's see how he is. But he's 30, yeah. But the thing is that if he's 30, he'll give us another 2 or 3 more years. But whether that's all for us. For us, if maybe for a goalkeeper, we'll rather have a younger goalkeeper and work his way up. And of course, Dave Hosper is saying this, right? If Kane gets booked against Palace, he'll be suspended from NLD. Yay! We're gonna get smashed anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, here's 32, by the way. The wonders of Google. 7th of November 1990, he's 32.
Okay, he's 32, right? And of course, Derek Hutchinson says that drop Lloris and bring in Alfie Whiteman. And the worst part is that we never even use our own youth to try it out, whether it works or not, right? Yeah, that's the sad part.
Alfie Whiteman looked brilliant in pre-season. He really did look a good goalkeeper.
Yeah,
we won't have any faith in him though. He'll just go out with another talent lost.
It'll be another Dylan McCanday, right? And then he'll just get sold into the championship and all that. And then he'll. That's what we do. Then he'll go overseas, right, to play with some Portuguese team, and then you'll turn up to the Marcus Edwards story. We're going to buy him back for £45 million. What a bullshit story we have there.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, Kesha. The Spurs story is that we develop youth, right? We sell the youth, right? The youth go overseas and become something, and then we buy them back, right? So
No, I'll disagree. I think we buy the youth in. We don't develop them, and then we just let them go again, maybe getting our money back. And that's it.
Maybe, right? But before I end, I would like to say a big out to all the guys in the chats. Today we have consistently about 10 to 15 people, right? Fuad from UAE, thanks for joining us. Derek Hutchinson, big up Derek. Derek's in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. Dave Hosper, I'm not sure where you're from. Big up to you too. Guguma has always been the big support. You didn't join us on the show today, Guguma. I hope you're doing well. And of course, Barry, Ranjit, Nick, right? Big up to Barry, Nick, right?
That's
and
probably the one, man.
Chris Agamba, big up, Chris. Hope you're doing well, right? Who else do we have? Mark Swifty's gone back to work. Big up, Swifty. Hope you're doing well too. Happy New Year to all you guys. Kuva is here in the chat, in the panel. Eva Man in Hong Kong. Hope you're doing well, Eva. Take care, because she just caught the COVID again. I'm not sure again of how many times, but I think please take care of yourself, right? Hope you're doing well, right? And of course, Chen Yao, big up. She's if not mistaken, Singapore. She told me, right? Chen Yao's from Singapore, right? And Amir, big up Amir. I'm not sure it's the Amir from Brian Daigle, the Amir, or is it a different Amir? Big up to you too. Happy New Year to you. Right, who else do we have in the chats? Chun Yao, Derek Hutchinson, Dave Hosper, Engwa, yes, big up Engwa, my Malaysian brother in London, right? Big up Engwa, he's in London, right? And anybody else do we have? Let me check. Anybody else? Did I miss out any names? Right, Wayne Bonner, yes, big up to Wayne Bonner. I have seen Wayne Bonner some time. Big up Wayne, hope you're doing well. Alexander Hilton, Steak. I asked you whether you want to join us. Since I think maybe you're busy, you can't join us. Steak. Right, Bobby K's at work. Big up Bobby K. And of course, Savvy about the protests and all that. You have to get in touch with Brian Daigle. Brian Daigle has more information on protests. If you're somewhere living around London, right, that'll be a good thing. And of course, not to forget, all you guys in Asia, please drop an ENIC out, Levy out on the AIA website, right? Don't forget, right? The AIA website. Can you see this, right?
Yeah. Pele, rest in peace, my man.
Yep, and of course to Pele.
Absolutely.
Pele.
Yeah,
Right.
I can't get my head right.
Yeah, Pele. Right, and Fuad, please like and subscribe, right? Do join us in the next time when we do a show. Usually, most probably, my next show will be next Monday, if I'm not mistaken. It'll be next Monday. I'll try to get some Newcastle fans on, right? We always love the Newcastle fans coming on, right? There'll
be some game tonight, by the way, Eugene. Arsenal v Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle. Who's Newcastle? Oh, Arsenal.
Are they playing
Are they
today?
play- Yeah, Newcastle Arsenal tonight. At the Emirates, right?
It's at the Emirates, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm going to stick my neck out and say I think if Newcastle win that, they're going to go on and win the league.
Wow.
Oh, that's a big
You
one.
heard it here first.
They've
Yeah.
lost one game this season, just one game.
Yeah. Big up Dave Hosper toys, right?
Eddie
Newcastle
Howe
to win the
doing a
league
great
if they
job.
beat Arsenal. That would be a big surprise, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It could-
it'll be a massive result. I just think they're capable of doing that. That
Yeah.
what single loss in the season that's not a fluke. That was a last minute goal against Liverpool as well. They're a
Mm.
team that doesn't concede goals. They concede. They're by far the best defense. They've added goals to it. They've nearly scored as many as we have, and we think
Okay.
good.
Let's say if Newcastle beat Arsenal tonight, right, and maybe Chelsea draws Man City, right, that will put Newcastle in the second.
Yeah.
Okay. And but don't forget, but Newcastle will still have played one more game more than Arsenal and City, right? If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
well, Newcastle had a slow start to the season. It's in that this last sort of 10 games they've won. No, 11 games, 9 out of the last 11, drawn the other 2.
It's that inertia,
Yeah.
isn't it? You're talking about, Eugene.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't forget, right? If they get into that position, imagine with the money they have, they can strengthen.
Exactly. This January.
Yeah. Don't forget, we are in January now.
Yeah. Tell that to Mr. Levy.
Oh, Levy. I don't know. I don't know what to tell Levy anymore, right? The only thing I can say is that, right? Conte walks, right? And Levy out. And guys, any more last messages from you guys before I say bye?
Come on, you Spurs. But it's a hard one now.
Come on, you Palace. I just want to see complete disaster and then force a hand.
Oh no! Oh dear! Oh dear! No! Ian's "Come on, you Spurs" is like "Come on, you Spurs."
I
man.
can't. It's got to be
Yeah,
come on, you
come on,
Spurs.
you Spurs. Yeah.
That prick has
come on,
burst
you
my bubble, something rotten, I tell you.
My heart's broken already. I don't care now.
Kuva, you should have seen Ian last year, right? When he was so Levy's we
Well,
no,
that's
give
a
it.
bit of an exaggeration, but yeah.
Everybody has their breaking point. I'm not
Yeah.
going to criticize anybody for sitting on the fence or even being Levy in. Every single one of us, if we've supported for the last 22 years, we've had the wool pulled over our eyes at some point.
That's true. Yeah. At least now a lot of us are waking up, and that's the best sign that we can have.
Just
And
welcome the ones coming out from underneath the blanket.
Yeah. And of course, Keshaf, how would you say?
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you guys.
Come on, you Irons.
And of course, Director says, okay, then Levy piss off. That's a term of endearment to us in our Spurs.
I wish we had something where you got the Ryan's bit like that. I wish Spurs could do something like that. I mean, you can't really say
Come on, you Spurs.
No, it's worse. You'd have to say, "Come on, you cock," and I'm definitely not doing that one on camera.
Oh dear, of course you're not going to do that one. All right, guys. I'll see you in the back room while we just do the ending. Don't forget, take your earphones off if you have them. This is gonna get loud.